Finished with breakfast, everyone prepared to get to work. David headed to the mill to get started on the large feed grinding order he had set up the day before. Walter put on his jacket and headed up Ferguson Way with a gallon pail to investigate a rumor of some black raspberries having already ripened along the edge of the woods. Rebecca prepared to start a new rug on her loom. Before setting up the loom, Rebecca noticed that she had come down with a terrible thirst. She asked Ceely to fetch her a cup of water. Ceely did so. When Rebecca took a deep drink, her stomach muscles suddenly convulsed, causing her to vomit so violently that she collapsed on the kitchen floor. The explosive action made Ceely giggle. Rebecca tried to rise up, but further convulsions returned her to the floor. She could not stop vomiting. She ordered the girl to go get her father at the mill. Ceely ran out into the yard, avoiding the foul-tempered chickens that often pecked at her legs, crossed the rickety bridge over Schweitzer's Run, and alerted David that Rebecca was, quote, puking all over the place, end quote. David hurried back to the house and helped Rebecca into a chair, where she continued to suffer stomach pains even though her stomach had emptied its contents. When she attempted to down more water to combat her intense thirst, it again came back up. David realized that her illness was serious and headed outside to hitch up the horse and buggy. He knew that their usual family doctor, Dr. Budd of Perrysville, was out of town that week. So he headed south over the ridge toward Newville, where a younger doctor had recently set up shop. By the time David Rose arrived at Dr. John McComb's residence in Newville, his mouth had dried out severely. He explained his wife's illness to the doctor, who immediately readied himself to accompany Rose back to the mill house. As they rushed back up onto the ridge, David's sense of thirst became maddeningly keen. He begged off to stop at a farmhouse and ask for some water. It isn't known which farm they stopped at, although it could have been at the Ferguson farm on Newville Road. But the result of David drinking water was instant and violent. He collapsed into severe stomach convulsions and vomiting. The doctor succeeded in loading David back into the buggy and sped on over the ridge into Pleasant Valley. With some effort and some help from Ceely, he was able to get David back into the cottage and into the front parlor, where he lowered the old man onto a couch. While this was going on, a neighbor suddenly pounded on the front door with an emergency. He had just found Walter Rose up the road by the Ferguson woods, passed out in the ditch. He had thrown up. He must have come out and collapsed just moments after the doctor passed through with his father, unless in his haste the doctor had sped past and never even noticed Walter fallen near the road. The doctor went and gathered up Walter, returning him to the house and attempting to make him comfortable on a cot in the back parlor. Dr. Combs looked around at the sick and moaning family, violently ill, except for one. Ceely Rose stood to the side, wide-eyed, watching it all with fascination.